What's up, good people? It's your boy Hoon Boone, and this is the Hold Up Show. And we are out here amongst the people in another one of my favorite spots out here in LA, sucking up all the good weather. You dig? Hope everyone is having a blessed day. Happy New Year's to everybody who celebrates. Even though we know it's not officially a new year, but it is officially the start over of man's calendar. Because like many who believe or who are aware or have knowledge, the knowledge that I acquired, I believe that there are only 10 months in a year, and that the 2 months that were added, which was July and August, were inserted by individuals of their own doing and their own indoctrinations. And I would get a little deeper into that, but I believe it requires more precise conversation instead of just, spewing some stuff together. But anybody who has been to school, anybody who pays attention and has a mind for accuracy and details. We all know that December, Deci, means 10. November, Nueve, all that means 9. Octa for October means 8. Septa or September has origins in 7. So how could those things be something other than what the original words mean and are broken down to, unless someone decided they wanted to change those words to mean what they wanted them to mean and what they wanted the people that they were trying to conquer or they were trying to control and indoctrinate to have them believe what they mean in their eyes. So like I said, I don't want to get too far into it because I think it deserves and requires a more knowledgeable and more precise conversation than just the dialogue I just gave right there. But it's something for you to think about, yes. Happy New Year, new calendar year of those who created this man-made calendar, but it is not the calendar of God, I believe. It is not the cycle of the world and the balance that we are supposed to be in. Furthermore, it cannot be the start of a new cycle if everything is dead. The start of a new cycle is when things become alive and starts to grow, which will represent the springtime, when you spring back into life. So, again, another conversation for another day, right? I just wanted to, spread some love to those who do celebrate and who do use this time of the calendar to reset their mind frames and reset their heart and reset their intentions in a godly manner, in a Christ manner, to become a better version of themselves, to become more aligned, or taking one step closer to become more aligned with the universe, with the Most High in that manner. So if that is what you need to use to get you to start coming back to what is more in harmony of self, what is more in harmony of your soul, by all means, do not let me stop you. Because eventually, when you turn on the light of the mind, it cannot be turned off. You cannot unsee the truth once it has been brought to you, I've spent these last couple of days amongst the people. When I say amongst the people, I mean amongst all walks of life, mainly the homeless, because I was very, very curious and very just couldn't help myself but to wonder how those who live that life can choose this life, or if the circumstances of life put them in a particular situation to where as though they had to live that life, why would they stay in that life, or why would they continue to dwell in that life instead of doing whatever by any means in a godly way to get out of that lifestyle and up off of the streets and more into a sheltered, environment, their own space, their own comfortability, their, something to where as though, they can fulfill their soul and fulfill their purpose. Because I don't believe that their purpose was meant for them to live on the streets in the elements, or live under the control or at the mercy of a system, or at the mercy of handouts, or at the mercy of donations. I wanted to understand to some degree, what makes them continue with every sun rotation to choose this life, to remain a street dweller. And I also wanted to look at the reactions of those who walk by the street dweller, who walk by the homeless, who walk by the less fortunate that are not in those positions, and how they react to them on a daily basis, or how they interact with them when those are in the same vicinity, like a park, like a tourist location, like a supermarket, like a bathroom public setting, and for the most part, almost like they treat them like they are invisible. Like they are not there, like they are almost litter, or part of the scenery that's like a bag of potato chips, an empty bag of chips that someone forgot to throw away, and it's just blowing down the streets. almost the demeanor and the posture and the behavior in which most people treat the homeless. And then, there is another side where I do see people that do make me believe that there are still a plethora of good souls in this world that see those people and go out their way to want to give them food, or just want to be a soldier of God that just walks around, that just gives out clothes, or gives out, see someone who is barefoot and goes out their way just to give them some $5 flip-flops. And I've seen gentlemen walk around with a cart and just roll around where the homeless be, just handing out food, just asking them, do you want something to eat? Here's something, take what I have, and God bless you after they give it to them, not looking for any recognition, not looking for any pats on the back or just anything like that. And I even see sometimes, those people get discouraged because they want to help these people not have to live this life, but they see that a lot of them choose to live this life, so it also frustrates them to a point where, they want to continue to help them, but it's only so far that they'll extend their hand, because they know that these people, with every sun rotation, continue to choose this direction, to choose to remain out here, which is, their God-given free will to continue to do. I went to an area downtown that all but could rival Kensington for one of the worst sights that I've ever seen in my life, But the only thing about it is, they ain't out there on crank. They ain't out there too heavy on dope and, stuff like that. They're more or less out there on coke and meth, so they don't look as bad, but the circumstances and the environment is just as bad. It was just a certain stench that it was out there, and it was just like tents on tents on tents of people. They had I guess you would consider them like luxury tents. They had 3 and 4 bedroom tent type cardboard hookups. They was just built for all the elements and everything. And then it was city workers out there having to sanitize the streets. They had whole facilities out there so that these people, if they wanted to wash their ass, they could literally go wash their ass and be provided toothbrush, soap, and deodorant and all that on a daily basis, just the travel size amount enough to accommodate, them sterilizing themselves for the day until they wanted to go back out there and get as dingy as they wanted to be living on the streets, And it was very eye-opening, They had what they call coffee stands, where they would just give out free coffee all day to the homeless. They had several churches that would just give out food in every which location that you could think of, all over the city. And it was like, for the most part, anywhere they travel outside of those locations, they were all but shunned, all but, treated like litter in a community. Something that does not belong. You are out of your element. Go back to those areas that are designated for filth like you type of, attitudes, But yeah. Also, just wanted to jump on, for people that have been following my journey and been on this path of healing and this walk of faith and spiritual enlightenment that I've been on. Because I no longer believe that I'm walking on faith. It's more like a belief, I think faith is like the definition of looking for something to believe in type of deal, looking for something that you can't see to believe in. But I talk to my angels, ancestors, God, grandparents. I've seen the Most High. I've seen my ancestor Anubis. I've seen these people, with my own two fleshly eyes. They've come to me, so I can't say that I'm walking in faith. I'm more walking in belief. I'm walking in the path that they're telling me to walk on. And so even though I've been stubborn along the way, I know it was something that I was destined for, that I could no longer ignore, no matter how stubborn that I wanted to be. It was going to happen. And it happened right when it was supposed to happen. I guess right when I was mature enough and informed enough and enlightened enough with just being in this earthly realm of living and understanding interactions between people and between religions and between God and all that comes with that it would be time for me to take that next step. That figure, one of many of his soldiers that was hidden in plain sight, that was activated when the time was right. I guess as the earth vibrations and consciousness shift, I was one of those ones that was activated to help humanity along the way start to understand that this mundane schedule of oppression that we've been living is not the world of harmony and higher healthy consciousness that God had intended for us when he brought us here. We were more or less here to spread love and understand that the vessels that you are occupying is not the soul that's inside of you. That is because we are all one and we all are a chip and a piece of source. So therefore we must understand our place in this and understand that everything is spiritual. Everything is a understanding of what side of the spiritual do you want to be on? You know, do you want to be of the light, or do you want to be of the dark? Do you want to be a vessel that is easily consumed by lower vibrational spirits that will have you not spread love and not reach out to your fellow man or woman, and look to uplift them however they're looking to live their life? Or do you want to be of the light and be of service however your heart and your mind is telling you to be of service? Because I still, me personally, I still don't know. I mean, I feel as though through using my voice, and being fearless in stating my case and making my claim, and through the actions of the world that I live, is how he wants me to be of service. And, I gladly take on that challenge, because I was an individual that most of the things that came out of my mouth was not liked anyway, because it was rooted in truth, and it was rooted in not being afraid to meet people where they at, or tell someone where they're at, through my own evaluations of both myself and them, and myself around them, I come to notice that I'm a trigger to people. Like, I trigger things inside of them that they don't want to face. Like, it's too deep. It's too touchy. It's too like I'm messing up the vibe or something. Like all the piggies are playing in filth, and here he comes wanting to clean us up. We're pigs. We want to be filthy. Why does he want to clean the pigs in the pig pen? And it's like, because it needs to be, You can't let filth fester, because it will bring on other filth and other disease and other things, and we just can't have that on our souls and on our spirits. You should want a clean spirit, clean heart, clean mind, clean vessel. You should want to spread love. You should want to be kind, but you should also want to tell someone the truth. Like, I have no problem speaking truth to power, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care how pleasantly they like to dress it up. If you've done something foul, or you was a part of pushing the agenda that was foul, I don't care how nice of a person you are, you will be told that you were in the wrong. Like, you will be told that you should not be out here trying to force people into oppression, or force people into doing something against their will so they could keep pretending and keep faking to make some corporation wealthy, or some politician or powers that be feel that they still have that band of control, or that that illusion of control over you. You're free. And the more that you practice your freeness, and the more that you sit in your sovereignty, the more you will scare them, and the more you will see that you have the power, and they have to conform to you, not you conform to them, because they can't operate without us. Whatever they pretending to do won't work without us. So yeah, that was something else that I wanted to get into, as far as like, keep remaining to be your authentic self, walking your truth, let your truth lead with love, because the truth is love. If you love a person enough to tell them the truth, you are definitely a good soul and somebody that I want around me. Because don't tell me what I want to hear, tell me what will make me better, so I can make someone else better, and it will have a ripple effect on the world that will make the world collectively have a higher consciousness and a better place that you would want to live in. So you don't have to have these illusions of this fear of walking the streets, that you will be threatened or harmed or hurt by your fellow man, because we live an abundant life, and it is plenty of resources, abundance, wealth, knowledge, love, happiness out here for us all. You just have to learn how to search for it in your own rights, in your own minds, in your own beings. But what I really wanted to talk about out here today is the interactions between man and woman. With that being, is how far inside do you go? How deep into that person's soul do you go? Like, not only, said counterpart, you're a woman or your man before they became your companion, but also your friends, your associates, the people you do business with. Like how deep do you go into the psyche of an individual? How are you very surface level? Like, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? What are your hobbies? Or do you go deeper? Like what was a trauma in your life? What are the things that make you angry, and why do those things make you angry? What was the backstory that became a thing that makes you angry and became a pet peeve of yours? How is the relationship with your parents? Are your parents married? How long were they married? What was the dynamic of the relationship between your parents? How did that relationship affect you growing up as a child? Was it a loving environment that they surrounded you with while they had a toxic marriage, or did they have a loving marriage and you could smell and see the examples of the love that they had for each other in the marriage, that also fostered the love and the abundance and the emotional balance in you, that you felt as though you had that great environment to grow up in? What are the things that you hide from society that that the average person, or even within yourself, the insecurity in yourself would deem weird, that you wouldn't want everyone to know unless you were comfortable with that person. Like do you have kinks? Do you have quote unquote bad habits? Do you like to do particular drugs that one individual might call you a fiend and the next individual might say, hey, they like the party? Did you have healthy interactions with sex? That when you came up, did you have a forceful partner that made you have sex when you weren't ready? Were you molested? Did you have encounters where you felt as though something wasn't right? Or did you have encounters with adults that you felt was inappropriate now that you're an adult and were able to recognize those things that shouldn't have happened to you at that age, and you wish you would have had someone to speak upon, or you wish your environment was much more safe, that something like that wouldn't even have an opportunity to happen to you? Or how do you feel about being a parent? How do you feel about having kids? What is the amount of kids that you want to have? Why do you feel as though what would make you believe that you are a good parent, or that you could have the potential to be a good parent, or even just a good friend, or a good whatever? What deems you that I should do business with you, that we should form into a contract to do business? What are your attributes as a person? What are your values and your morals that transcend how you do business and why you do business? It's okay to know an individual that is so good at their job, or so good at what they do, that they're able to always make a profit. But if you know that their particular values and their particular ethics and morals do not align with yours, would you still want to do business with them even though they're profitable individuals? Would you still feel as though that would be the right move or the right direction for your company, or for how you want to be represented, even though it's at its bottom line is making you a profit, or turning you over huge percentages or huge margins of what you're trying to make? Does the ethical behavior of those people still matter to you? It's like, how deep do you go when you are trying to have these conversations of relationships that you have in this life that you're living, that we only get one chance at? Would that be the mark that you want to leave? Is the mark that you want to leave as though that, hey, they're willing to do whatever to remain profitable, to remain a business that will always bring a return regardless of the filth or the ethics of a person, that they're willing to just work with whatever? We could put it to a professional football team, right? Or any professional team. You hear those teams, let's say I don't know, right? Let's just say, for an example, right? Just based off their name, the Patriots, right? We're going to say the Patriots are a clean-cut team. They do not like their players that are involved in domestic violence or gang activity, or they want the quote-unquote good background player, two-parent home, highly educated, good GPA, got their degrees, are pillars in their community that does voluntary work and things like that. They would draft that player over the player that may have a higher production on the football field, but necessarily their morals and their values or the environment they come from could influence a particular bad taste on their team's bottom line. It's like that, and it's like, okay, maybe they might not win as many games or they might not win as many championships, but they for sure won't be in the news for one of their players after winning a championship having drunk driver vehicular homicide, or they won't have a domestic violence incident, or they won't have a manslaughter incident, or they won't have several baby moms all on social media saying how deadbeat of a father they are, or things of that nature. Like, that stuff matters to some people, and some of that stuff doesn't matter to other people. And it's like, what mark do you want to leave on this earth? How deep do you go into the people, the companies, the atmosphere, the environment? Like, how far do you go into the people that you interact with on a daily basis? Because I started to learn that me just taking people at face value, and even some individuals that I knew on a deeper level that had a lot of things, a lot of morals, a lot of ethics that I didn't agree with, or that I would never see myself doing, but just out of pure love and loyalty, I still interacted with them, even though I started to limit the interactions. That still in the end affects your environment, in the end affects your world, because you gotta clean the pig pen. The pig pen will gather other bacteria and infester other things that will spread. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you either clean the pig pen and you clean the pigs in it, or you just don't be around any pigs and don't be around any of those environments to even have to subjugate yourself to such an environment, to even have to, make those type of decisions. We have to use our discernment and quickly be able to identify when we run across things like that in our world, and make sure that that's just something that just you can't have. You know what I mean? Like, if you're looking to foster and be the best version of yourself, what's up, brothers? That just can't be something that you entertain. You have to identify it, classify it, and remove it from around you. And it's like, it hurts sometimes, because these things and these people and these companies and these, some of these things we come to love and come to cling on to, it'd be hard to let them go, because those could be your mother, those could be your father, those could be your siblings, those could be your cousins, those could be your girlfriends, they could be your boyfriends, they could be the job you work at, they could be the products you buy in the store, or the clothing that you wear. Like, if like Nike is doing a bunch of unethical shit, why would you keep looking to support Nike and keep looking to buy their product? Because that means you are condoning the behavior of whatever, slave employment that they choose to turn a blind eye to, because they are making what is most important to them, their bottom line of profit, Even though like maybe the other brands of sneakers or whatever clothing you don't like because it just doesn't, appeal to you in the same way or fit you the same way or even have the same stylish look, is like you still are condoning the behavior they are complicit in, because their bottom line is profit. You know what I'm saying? So it works the same way with people. It works the same way with the food you buy. If you know this particular food is putting chemicals in the food that you're eating, but when you go to another location that this company is selling the same exact product overseas or in another region or demographic that does not allow these certain additives and chemicals in their food, that they're willing to go out of their way not to put it in their products over there, but they're willing to put it in your products over here because they're looking to have a longer shelf life. You got to fight back against that. That's the only way it's going to change. Do you want your kids to keep having an unhealthy lifestyle or a shortened lifespan because so and so wants to be able to have their product on the shelf longer so they don't have to make more, and also it's cheaper to make if they don't have to make it that way? And no, you want the best, you want the healthiest, most nutritional products and things going inside of your vessel so your vessel can live the longest. But there's other factors that go into that, like the people that you vote for, their morals or ethical values, that underhand, under the table deals that they take from these companies, corporations that allow them to put said chemicals and additives and harmful substances in our food, then want to market and promote to our children with smiley faces and cartoon characters and fake marshmallows that are more harmful than whatever you thinking is in there. Like, they just got a bunch of dyes in there that is causing these ADHDs and all these other 3 and 4 letter disorders in our children that weren't around when you were a child, or just started to appear when you were a child, and you were like, dang, I hope I don't get that, or dang, I'm glad I wasn't one of the ones that got that. Yeah, because it's in the diets and the food. It's just, how deep do you go when you are interacting with the people in your cipher, the companies you choose to do business with, the associates you choose to interact with, the jobs you choose to work? Are these people ethical? Are these people of morals? Are these people of values? Are these people someone that you want your kids to live with, or to be raised under? Or is this the politicians that you want making the laws for your future? Like, because you know that they'll take a suitcase under the table to have chemtrails sprayed in your neighborhood. Like, it's just the things you have to ask yourself. And I'm willing to ask, and I'm willing to tell them suckers, like, man, hell no, I won't support you. Hell no, I don't believe in you. Like, just hell no. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, the more and more that I scratch below the surface, yeah, I'm running into things that I don't like from companies and people that I've interacted with, and it's like, no, I do not look to support them in the future. Like, well, does that mean that I would turn around and throw away the things that I've already acquired from these companies, and maybe even some of the foods that I have already purchased or eaten from them? It's like, not immediately, but I weaned them out of the cipher. It's just a part of growing. Like, you immediately, as you grow, those things don't have room in your environment or room, in your social setting or your living quarters, like they eventually fade out. They eventually get removed, and you look up and it's just not there. And you might not even necessarily recognize it, but the people that you are around may start to recognize the change in you and the changes that you have made that have had a positive effect on whether it be your physical vessel of how you're looking or your mental interactions and capacity of how you communicate and how you now interact with them, or just what you put in your body, you know. It's like for years I knew all the chemical, but I just knew that all the stuff that had to do with smoking that I just knew was harmful, knew it had no good intended for me with every inhale, every puff. And yet I still kept on. And it's like, now I just can't. And I can't believe that I went that long and I did it for so long. And in a way, I know why, because they were putting addictive things in there to make you come back, even if you consciously and subconsciously didn't want to go back. And made your vessel yearn for those things, you know, until you had to become more mentally strong in your spirit and in your soul to defeat your mind and your body's urges of something that you might enjoy, but in the end it's just not good for you. So
it's not what she would choose, so it's hard for me to finish that, but
it's not to say that, you know, you may want to partake here and there if that's something you want to do. Like, everything can be done in moderation, I guess, you know. Like, it's still your free will, it's still your life, it's still whatever you decide you want to do, you know. It's like, I ain't smoking no weed, I ain't smoking no cigarettes, and I ain't drinking no alcohol, beverages of any kind. It's not to say that I never ever will ever again in life, but at this very moment, my mind, my body, my spirit, my soul, my vessel is thanking me with every day, with every sun rotation that I do not do those things. And who's to say that I won't have a celebratory moment and wanna pop a bottle of champagne or have a cigar as a symbolism of a personal victory. But I think all victory should come within the Lord and within yourself. And you could do that. So yeah, it's just something I just wanted to talk about, touch down on, you know. How deep do you go with the things that are a part of your life? Whether that be relational, whether that be friendship, whether that be the occupation you work. Do you love it? Is it a very surface level thing that you're doing just to pay a bill, a bottom line? Or do you not have the confidence and the wherewithal to go do an occupation that fulfills your heart, fulfills your love, you know, of whatever it is that is in your heart, in your mind, in your soul? Are the things you're doing based in some sort of love? Is it out to better your environment, your humanity, your community? Like, Is it leaving a mark that your kids can be proud of, that your family name would love to say that this individual, you know, was a part of my bloodline or a part of my lineage? So, just stuff to think on, you know. It's your boy Home Boom. It's another segment of the Hold Up Show, and I'm out. Peace.